Hello everybody, it is Sean the TTRPG Traveler here with another DiceCloud V2 tutorial. So my first tutorial that I ever did, it was showing how to make a Gestalt character using the V2 builder, and that was because the server I played on used Gestalt, and a lot of people were trying to figure out how to transition over to V2. This one is going to be a lot more your basic 5e character, and that's because I feel a lot more people will be building your basic character rather than building a Gestalt character. So this is going to be helping people build that standard character. So this is part of the series I plan where I will build the basic character 3 different ways using V2, because you can build it with different rule sets. So this is going to be using the builder, just like you would be using if you use D&D Beyond. So this should really help people who are transitioning from D&D Beyond, or people who are going from V1 to V2. This should help people who are making that transition. So in order to help with that, I have started a new account. This is so that you can see what it would look like if you were just starting a new account, right? So I don't have all of my libraries. I don't have all of my characters. You will see in this video just like you should be seeing it on yours, okay? So the first thing I always recommend people to do whenever starting out on DiceCloud V2 is to come over here to Library. You will be subscribed to the DiceCloud 5th edition SRD. Come down here to Browse Community Libraries. And then these are the community libraries. Libraries are additional content for DiceCloud. They are all user generated, so somebody is coming in and like making all this content, okay? The only library you should need to make a basic 5e character is Libraries of Vexus, okay? We call it LOV, so if you ever hear me say LOV, that's just Libraries of Vexus. What you should do is come down here, subscribe, and then unsubscribe from the DiceCloud one. So like I said, all you really need is right here. It has all the races from 5e sourcebooks, 13 classes, the subclasses, backgrounds, 97% of the spells, feats, wild shapes, a lot of magic items. Doesn't have all of them, but it has a lot of them. Built-in tutorial for how to use the library, works with Avery and Porter for as many things as possible. If you have any questions, find the blog. You can go to the Discord. Okay. So a lot of good things there. If you want to be using some more homebrew, if there's something specific you're looking for and it's not part of the SRD, you can look for a library that has that content. I create a lot of my own content, so you can come down here and see I have TTRPG Traveler's Homebrew Library. Right now I have the Hunter class pretty much finished, a few subclasses left to do. Blood Hunter 2.0 is my Blood Hunter rework that I'm finishing up, and Hiroshi is another class a new class that I'm working on. I have 2 subclasses that are pretty much done, the Barbarian Path of the Infected and Warlock Great Worm Patrons. And then I'm importing a lot of spells from places like Kibbles Tasties, So Many Robots, D&D Unleashed, and those are works in progress. So there's a lot of spells there. So as soon as every chance I get, I'll try uploading more and more. If there's ever a spell that you really want, you really need, you can contact me either on Discord, where I'm usually at, or send me a message on YouTube. However you can get in touch with me, ask me if I can do something, and I will try to get it in as soon as possible. And then, like I said, my first video was about Gestalt, so I have my own Gestalt mechanic. Okay. So if you'd like to, you can subscribe to me. That would be great. Okay. So coming back, libraries of Exis, the only one you should need. So now we're going to go up to characters. Now here's our character list. I tell people, look for the big red plus sign. That is always going to be your kind of clue where to go next. Big red plus sign. Click. New character. We're using the builder, so I'm going to be calling this one new character builder. Alignment, whatever you would like. Gender, whatever you would like. We should start on level 1. If you're going to start at level 3, then click it up to level 3. I always think it's best to start it at level 1, and then you can add the levels later. Next, the other thing I always recommend whenever making a new character, always click off all user libraries and only select the libraries you're going to use for that character. It really limits the amount of information you have, so it makes scrolling through things a lot faster. Okay. So libraries of Exis is what we're going to be using. Create. And we have our character here. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on it. And the first thing I'm going to do is close the side panel here. This way we can use our full screen. Great. So if you are from V1, you will notice there's some changes here. We have the build tab, which we're in right now. That's new. It's V2 only. Okay. We'll be spending a lot of time in here, so I won't go over it too much right now. The other new one you'll notice is the Action tab. Actions are the things you can do. So in V1, everything was a feature. In V2, you can actually roll within the app or within the program. So anything that you can do that's an action is in the Action tab. And as we progress, you'll see how that happens. Okay. So John Evans, here to show you around the library, teach you a bit about DiceCloud V2, information about libraries of Exis, published homebrew for the LOV, alpha content for the LOV. Okay, and then we have our proceed to sources. Not a big red button, it's a big green button, same effect, right? Okay, so let's proceed to our sources. Sources determine which sourcebook materials should be displayed from when selecting character options. For custom raised class templates, select homebrew. Okay, so right now, if we click on this, it'll give us all of our sources. You can use the boxes up here, which I really like, or you can also use this small tree here to build your sources, right? So sources, if I click on this plus button, it brings me to that same page. Okay? So you can use either one. We're going to use the boxes because I like the way the boxes disappear. Right? Let's go ahead and say homebrew. If you want the most amount of possibilities, I would click on all the bundles. So bundle, 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 bundle. What the bundles do is they take a bunch of the supplements and they put them together. So for example, the ones that start out in the SRD for LOV is the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual. Okay, and we can see bundle core supplements. If you ever don't know what's in a bundle and you want to check what's in that bundle, click on the side here, and then it'll show you everything that's within that. Here we have Volos, Xanathars, Mordenkainen's, Tome of Foes, Tasha's, Fizzbands, MPMM, Big B's, and the Book of Many Things. Okay. This really saves you from having to go down and select each individual thing. You can just select the bundles. Okay. So insert. Okay. Now you'll notice the sources box hasn't disappeared. We don't need it anymore, so we can hide it by clicking on the X button. Now it hasn't been deleted. A lot of people think, oh my gosh, I deleted it. Nope, you can't delete anything without clicking on a trash can icon. What you've done is you've hidden it. So if you come here, you see this big red one. If you click on this, hidden properties, sources, if you click on it, you can bring it back. So if you decide you need more sources, you can always go back to that tab. Okay. All right, so we finished our sources. So next, let's go to our house rules. House rules, also called extensions. Okay, so these are any house rules that your server, your table, your group might be using. Granted, not every single house rule is in here, but most of the most common ones are. And then again, there's a list. You can pause it at any time to see this list. I'm just going to scroll through it really quickly. If you're not sure what something is or what's contained in one of these, you can always, again, just click on it and it'll talk a little bit about it. So here it adds a slot to add a free feed, right? If you don't know what carrying capacity tracker is, an extension for tracking your carrying capacity, right? It tells you what those things are. We're not using any house rules for this character, so we're going to hide it. Again, it's not deleted, it's just hidden. Click on the properties, extensions, you can bring it back and add it at any time. Okay. All right, proceed to character creation. So now we have our character. John is gone. You can resummon John at any time if you want, or you can permanently hide the card. We're not really going to be using it anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and say permanently hide this card. And then you can see in this right, it tells us you can add it back by using the tutorial slot on your sheet. So here on the sheet, tutorial plus, you can add the tutorial back. Okay. Now we have two ways we can build the character, as I said. We can use the boxes. The boxes I find give kind of the most DDMB experience, where you click on it and it automatically takes you to the next thing. But you can also just come down to this tree and like click on the individual things and that will take you to there. When we get to background, I'll use the background in the tree here to kind of show different ways to do it. But for now, we're just going to be using the boxes. While I like to start with base ability scores, usually it helps if we have our starting class, so we know where to assign our stats. We are going to start with a fighter. I know we're going to start with a fighter. If you don't know what you're going to start with, you can always do your class first. But since we know I'm going to start with a fighter, we can go ahead and do our base ability scores. Okay. So base ability scores, which way are you going to take your ability scores? For example, manual. In the server I'm in, we have to roll a dice roller on the server, and then we use those values. So I would click on manual and then manually select, right? I would click manually, insert it, and then base ability scores, I would come in and set what my scores actually are, right? And it has this nice, cool little slider to help you. So you can set the slider. Done. Close. I'm going to show you each one real quick. So deleted the manual, right? Base ability scores, let's go back. Point by, so if you're going to be using point by, right? Your 27 points, and then you just assign your points as usual. 27 points. It'll let you choose, and you can see how many points you have left. Okay, let's go back. Not point by. Roll for stats. If you click roll for stats, right? So click this button to roll 6 numbers that can be assigned to your ability scores. Roll. In the side, it will tell you what you rolled. Okay? So you rolled a 13, 11, 16, 12, 14, and 12. Okay? I'm not sure what the values, how it determines, if it's a roll 4, drop 1. So, but that's one way you can do it. And then the last way, of course, is standard array. I know a lot of people now use standard array. I use it for my playtesting, so we're going to go ahead and use standard array. And then here we assign our stats. So 15, I'm going to go to con, 14 to strength, 13 to dex. Because we're going to be multi-classing later to show that, I'm going to put 12 into intelligence, 10 into wisdom, and 8 into charisma. Okay. All right. So we have our base ability scores. Next, if we follow along, we have race. Looks like my computer's a little slow today. All right, so here's our race. Now, you can scroll through all the races that you want, or if you know which one you want, you can come up to the search bar. Let's say I want a Minotaur. Okay. It tells me here's my legacy version, and here's the Mordekainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse version. We're going to click that one, insert it. Then it gives us our languages and our ability score increase. So languages, MPMM, everybody starts out with common, +1, so I'm going to say giant. And then ability scores, I want a +1 to con and a +2 to strength. Right, and as we can see, Minotaur is now black, so we've done everything for Minotaur. Next we have our background. So like I said, you can do it a couple ways. If you click on the box or if you click on the plus sign, it's going to give you the same thing. If you click on the name itself, so if I click on background, you're going to see this window. If you don't want to do it from here, you can close it out and click on the box or the plus. Or from here, you can just click on fill slot. And then it'll bring you to that same window. So kind of clicking on the name takes you there the long way. The others are like the shortcuts. I'm going to go with my basic soldier. Right? So regular soldier, Baldur's Gate soldier, just a regular old soldier. Okay, close. Now I need to choose my gaming set. One of the things I like about this is that I don't have to try to figure out what the different gaming sets are. It tells me what the gaming sets are. He's a dice player. We'll insert that. Okay. Next is our class. Okay, starting class. As I said, we're going to start out with a fighter. So let's go ahead and select our fighter, insert. Okay, so here's our next thing, skill proficiencies. So skill proficiency, I'm going to go with, I like perception and insight. Now this isn't all of them, but if we go to requirements of 2 properties were not met, we can show all and see athletics and intimidation. We can't select those because it's already been selected, right? We got those from our background. That's why they don't show up in our proficiency list, okay? Because they were already selected in the background. So we're going to go ahead and click on perception and insight, insert. All right. Next we have our fighting style. I'm a fan of the halberd, so we're going to go with great weapon fighting, insert, and starting funds or starting equipment. Just a side note for people that are new to D&D, my personal recommendation for new players is unless you have a very specific build in mind and you know exactly which equipment you need, it's always better to start with the equipment and then you can just sell the things you don't need. So we're going to go ahead and start with our equipment, and then here's our fighter equipment. So weapon choice 1, 1A. So it tells you here too what it is. So a martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons. martial weapon and a shield, or two weapons. So 1A or 1B can be a shield, and then the other one can be a martial weapon, or both of these can be a martial weapon. So I'm going to pick two martial weapons because I'm a great weapon fighter. So like I said, halberd, and then for a more short range, let's go with a warhammer, so we have different types of damage. And then weapon choice 2, light crossbow and 20 bolts, or two hand axes. We're obviously going to go with the light crossbow. Insert. And then pack choice, dungeoneer or explorers. I like explorers. And then armor choice, chainmail, leather longbow, or strength. So chainmail. All right, that is it. We've finished everything we need to build this level 1 fighter. We can come and check everything. So let's go through all of these really quick. So journal. Journal gives us our race info, creature type, age, and size. It gives us our traits, so physical description, personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws. So if you want to go and pull the ones from your background, or if you just want to pull one from any random background that you like, you can do that. You can add them in here, click edit, and then you can put in it in the summary or the description. Summary will show it in the box like this. Details, you won't see it until it opens up. So if you don't want the box, if you just want to see it, you put it in details. If you do want to see what it says, then put it in summary. Okay. Journal, you can also add notes. So we come to the red plus sign, click on it. We've got note. So you can add any notes to your sheet that you want. Okay. Features. These are our features. So there's a couple things I want to show you here. First, you'll see that it's somewhat organized. So horns, goring rush, hammering horns, labyrinthine recall. These are my Minotaur skills. Military rank is my background. Fighting style is my fighting style from fighter, and second win is a action feature from fighter. So first thing, if you don't like these colors, all these colors look very bland, and if I was playing, I would be constantly looking to see where I get my feature from, or I'll look for a specific feature, and I'll be like, I know it's from my background, where's my background? So I like changing the colors on these. If you were V1 user, changing the color would change the priority of where it shows. That's not the case in V2. So in V2, you can change it to whatever color you like. So you click on it, click on edit, and then I'm going to say I was soldier, I was army, so I want it to be like this dark green color. Right? You can choose any one of these you like. If you don't like that, you can clear it, or unlike V1, which had a little bug, you can keep selecting the color until you find the right color you like. You're not locked in with one color. Okay. Done, close, and now I have my different color. Let's say for fighter, I want fighter to be yellow, so it stands out, so I know these features are from my fighter. Right? Even though one's in action and one's not in action, I just like knowing these are my fighter features. I can see them clearly. Now, if you're a V1 user or a V2 user and you want to change the action, you don't like how they're ordered. So for example, let's say I don't want horns, then goring rush. I want horns, then hammering horns. Or I want labyrinthine recall before horns. The way we can change this is not by color, but we come up to the three dots here in the upper right-hand corner. Click on those three dots. And I'll go over these later, but right now we're going to go edit details, and we'll come down to settings and show tree tab. Done. Now you see we have a new tab, the tree tab. So you open up the tree tab, And then you can go to your rule set, and here's everything for your character. Let's go to race because I'm talking about the race features. And then here's the children. So here's the features. Labyrinthine Recall was last. I want to organize it, and then the little grab buttons appear. So I want Labyrinthine Recall first, then I want Horns, then Hammering Horns, then Goring Rush. Okay, Organize gets turned off, so I can't do it by mistake. Now if we go back to our features, we can see it's that in that order. Labyrinthine Recall, Horns, Hammering Horns, Goring Rush. Right, so that is our features. Next is our inventory. In the inventory, everything starts out as being carried. If I look at my stats, my armor class is 11. So if I come to my inventory, I can equip my chainmail. I have to move it over here to the equipped box. There's two ways we can do this. So you can click on the item, come up to edit, and then click on equipped. If I close this now, it will show here in the equipped box. Go over to stats, my AC is 16. Okay. Inventory, I want to equip my halberd. The other way we can do it is we have the grab boxes. Click on it, move it over until you see it in the box, and then you can drop it. If you just click it over and you move it before you see it, so right, we can't see it actually in the box, not in the box. So not in the box, well, it's in the box there. Let's try light crossbow, right? Not in the box, right? It doesn't show that it's in our box yet. Doesn't show it's in our box yet. If we just drop it now, then it moves down here to the bottom of our carried inventory. Okay. So again, if you want to equip it, make sure you see it in the box and then you can drop it. Now we have all of our equipment. Here I can see that I have all of my weapons. Light crossbow, we need to make sure we have our ammo selected, right? So next we have all of this still carried. Oh, I like wearing my clothes. Okay. So you have your backpack here. Backpack can hold 1 cubic foot or 30 pounds of gear. You can strap items such as bedroll or coiled rope to the outside of the backpack. Is you can come up here to the red plus sign. We have create item or create container. If you want to create backpack, create a container, name it. This is, so if we put in 5, contents are weightless. If this was a bag of holding, right, bag of holding, the contents are weightless. This is not weightless, so we will not click on this. We create it, and we see it's 5 pounds. Okay. Some people play where the backpack itself doesn't go against the weight. So if we click this and say it's not 5 pounds, we know it's 5 pounds, but it's not 5 pounds. Then we close. So contents are 0 pounds. We still have the 5 pounds over here, so it's not deleting the 5 pounds. So if you're tracking, especially if you're tracking carrying weight, this is going to be important. So let's start moving stuff over. Box over our playing dice, our trophy, our rank. Well, rank we can keep. Let's say our rank is part of on our self. Okay, crossbow case is its own thing. Bedroll is carried on the backpack, so it's not part of it. But let's go torches, our 10 days of rations, and our water skin. So now if we look, this is actually 37 pounds. It only carries 30 pounds. So technically we couldn't carry all this stuff if we were tracking our weights and being kind of the gritty realism, right? So that's something to keep in mind if you're doing it that way. So also you could create another one that's your crossbow bolt case, and just move the crossbow bolts over. Here's your belt pouch, which has all of your money, platinum, gold, silver, copper. Nobody uses electum, right? And then again, if you want to create an item, so let's say I wanted to add a +2 halberd. So you can create it, or in the library, we said it has a lot of tools already. So I know for sure that a +2 halberd is here. So I could add my +2 halberd from there. But if I wanted to add something like flame tongue isn't there, I would have to create it. I believe another library might have it, but you can always just create it and then make sure if you're going to equip it that you equip it. All right. Okay, spells. I'm a fighter. I'm a marshal. I don't know any spells. If you don't have any spells, this will be blank. Okay. Action, again, here's our actions. Like I said, we can roll within the app now. So if I attack, roll, advantage, disadvantage if you have them, and then click on roll. And then if we come down here, we see halberd, reach, 2 hit. Here's my 2 hit. I rolled an 8 plus 5 gives me 13. And then my damage is a 7. I rolled a 7 plus 3 gives me 10 slashing damage. If you are using something with ammunition and you're tracking ammunition, DiceCloud tracks the ammunition for you. So let's say I'm attacking with my light crossbow. I'm attacking with advantage, right? So now we can see there's two dice basically. We roll, light crossbow, crossbow bolt 1, inventory, 19 crossbow bolts. It keeps track of your ammunition. To hit, 13 and a 9. The 9 is the lowest, gets rid of it, so it's a 16. Damage, 8 plus 1, 9 piercing. So it does all of that for you. Okay. And then if you're doing your things like second wind, I can click on second wind, and now I've healed myself. Okay. So that's our action tab. And finally, we have our stats. So I'm going to go from right to left. So we have our weapon proficiencies, our armor proficiencies, our tool proficiencies, our language proficiencies. Then we have our saving throws, our skills, and it says down here for survival, you have an advantage on any survival check you make to navigate or track. This is a conditional proficiency, so we don't have the actual proficiency, but it tells us on this condition we have advantage. Okay. Right, and then if you're not sure where something comes from, this is one of the things I like about DiceCloud, is that you can click on it and it shows you where it's coming from. Okay, so your effects and then proficiencies. Your hit dice, your initiative, your proficiency bonus, your armor class. Again, if I want to know where my armor class is coming from, I have a base 11 armor class, and then chainmail is giving me a 16. Okay. If I had something else like the shield spell, maybe I'll do the shield spell later. It'll show additional AC from the shield spell. Okay. Speed. If you're a V1 user, speed didn't show up on your stats. Now speed shows up on your stats. Okay. And then here's our ability scores with our modifiers on top, just the way it should be, right? Constitution now is 16 and our strength is 16. Short rest and long rest. Just second wind. Short rest, second wind restored. So that's how we can restore, and then long rest, and then our hit points. Okay. Hit points. What's going to be happening is in version 2.1 is coming up. So we're going to have our cross sheet interactions. So a lot of this, the damage and stuff will automatically happen. Right now, if you click on it, you can click plus or minus. So let's say -8. 13 minus 8 is 5. So I'm down to 5 hit points. Long rest, all my hit points restore. Okay. All right. So that's your basic character, our level 1 character, and all of the tabs explained. Now let's go into leveling up, because we all love to level up, right? So you go back to your build, and we have milestone levels, but what we're looking for here is our level up, right? Big red button. Okay, so level up. You can click on these one at a time, right? Fighter 2, right? It'll give you your things for Fighter 2. Fighter level 2, we can see our features. We got our action surge. Again, I wanted things to be yellow, this is what it automatically has. So if I want to keep changing things to yellow, then I have to do it manually. But we can instead of just going up one level at a time, we can choose which levels we want. So let's say if you're starting at level 3, you can click 2 and 3 and you can start at fighter level 3. I'm going to start us at fighter level 4 just so that we can get our ASI. Okay. So we have our archetype from 3rd level. We're going to pick Battle Master just to show some more selections. Right, here's our maneuvers. And then I'm not going to pick the ones I normally pick. I'm just going to pick the first 3 to save time. And then student of war, or strength or dexterity for maneuvers. We're obviously strength based. Insert. And student of war, we're just going to go with calligraphy. Okay. Insert. So that's our level 3. And then level 4. Level 4, we have optional fighter features. I love the optional features. If you don't use them, then just click no optional features. All right. Now we have our ASI. So ASI, you click on it and you have your choice, right? Your ability score increase or your feet. So let's say I'm going to pick my feet. Insert. My feet. And like I said, I love halberd, so I want great weapon, master. Insert. But then I'm thinking, oh wait, the next levels I'm going to be multiclassing the wizard. Wizard, I need an ability score of 13 to move into that class. But my ability score is only a 12. So I need to get rid of that feat, right? So I changed my mind. Click on the trash can, it gets rid of it. And then now I can select it again. And I'm going to go ASI, insert, ASI, and then we're going to just go ahead and go to intelligence. Insert. All right. So now it's level 5, and I want to multiclass into wizard. Right. So we click on multiclass. Okay. Here's all of the choices. Now, right, these aren't all of them because I don't meet the requirements of some of them. So I can look and see why. Warlock, Sorcerer, I don't have a charisma higher than 13, right? Ranger, Paladin, Monk, my dexterity isn't my dexterity or wisdom, dexterity, strength, or charisma. If you don't meet the requirements, DiceCloud won't show you those options. Okay, so that's one of the other things I like is it will show you, hey, you don't meet these requirements. The other thing people sometimes get stuck on is they'll be like, hey, like um, Paladin, strength or charisma is lower than 13. You're like, but my strength is higher than 13. But remember, you also have to meet sometimes you don't meet the requirements to leave your class. So if I wanted to leave a class, like if I was wizard and I started out as wizard and I only had the 12 intelligence, I couldn't multi-class into another class unless I brought up my intelligence past 13, right? So a lot of people forget about that. Multi-classing isn't just the class you're going into, it's also the class you're leaving. All right, so like I said, we're going to go wizard, insert, and now it shows I have 4 levels of fighter and 1 level of wizard. I am a level 5 character. Okay. If you started out as a caster, then you're going to get Jons spell slot structure from level 1. That's why wizard multiclass level 1. We're basically starting out as a first level wizard, right? So we click on the spell slot structure. It says there's one property not met. If you wanted to see, it's because it's Gestalt. We're not a Gestalt character. In my other video, yes, we do use this. So we're going to click our normal spell slot structure, insert, and then we have our spell casting type. JSSS just stands for Jons spell slot structure, spell casting structure, spell slot structure. So our type, if your character has levels in a regular caster, insert spellcasting. If your character has levels in the warlock class, insert pack magic into the slot. If you have levels in both, insert both into the slot. It explains what to do. Okay. Here it lets you choose spell points or spellcasting. So spell slots, spell points, we're using spell slots. Insert. And there we have it. So we can take it and we go to our spells. And now we have spells. You can also see in our features, we have our wizard features now. So let's go to our spells. We have 3 cantrips, right? Wizard starts out with 3 cantrips. If you click on the button here, it tells us at the bottom here, we need to insert 3. I'm not going to pick 3 I would normally pick. I'm just picking the first 3, just so we don't make this video last forever. So we have our 3 cantrips, our 3 cantrips. Now, spells known. I believe at level 1, a level 1 wizard starts with 6. A level 1 wizard starts with 6 spells known. So let's go ahead and just pick 6. So when you click on this, it's going to show you every spell that's available. Right? If I put in Wish, I could check Wish. I'm a level 1 wizard, a level 5 character. There's no way that I know Wish. What you need to do instead is when you click on this, it says here at the top, type spell level and number in the search bar to sort by level. I'm looking for level 1 spells, so spell level 1. Insert. Now it's just going to show me the level 1 spells. Okay. So obviously we're going to pick Magic Missile. We're going to pick Mage Armor. And just 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Inserts. Okay. Right. It's going to stay red because as a wizard, you can keep adding more and more spells to your book, but we're not going to be doing that. Here it tells us we have 6 of 3 spells prepared. So I can only have 3 prepared right now. So if I click on this button, click on the 3 dots, in case you can see, we click on the 3 dots, change prepared spells. Click on this, and it gives us our boxes. Cantrips are always prepared, but these are not. So I just want magic, I want magic missile, mage armor, and long strider. Okay, so these other 3, I'm going to unprepare them. It shows me I have 3 of 3 prepared. Click on it. We're good to go. Now, like I said, we can cast our spells here from our tab. Cast a spell. Which spell? I want my mage armor. Cast. Okay. You touch a willing creature who isn't wearing armor. I'm wearing armor, so it doesn't work, right? Now, if we go back to this, delete the mage armor, let's go to our spells. Let's say if we get rid of mage armor and we add shield, insert shield. Now, if I cast a spell, cast shield, shield doesn't have that same restriction. So if I look at my stats, my armor class is now 21. And it tells me armor class 11, 16 from shield, 16 from chainmail, and 5 from shield. Okay. Another great thing is on the stats page, it shows you your spell slots, and if you have a dice resource like sorcery points or key, it will show them here on the page too. I've used my slots. Short rest, nothing happens because we don't recover spell slots on a short rest unless we're a warlock. Long rest, my spell slots come back. I still have the buff. Once the shield is done, we get rid of it. Right now, DiceCloud can't keep track of rounds. So when the round is over, you're going to have to disable the buff by yourself. Okay, and that's how you do it. All right, so now we have spells. Okay, so that should cover both our martial characters, half-casters, and spellcasters. Now I want to show a couple more things before I finish. So up here, print. Let's say you're going to be taking character sheets to a game, an in-person game. If you click on print, so we have a QR code if we want just to look it up real quick. But then here's our sheet. It has all of our ability scores, all of our stats. It has all of your actions, your features. It has them written out so you know exactly what they do. You can show it to your DM, say, here's what it does. Okay. It does have the roles listed, but you obviously, if you're playing in person, you just know that's your role. So it lists everything out. It lists all your equipment, okay, and it lists all your spells. Okay, so that is our print. So you can print it out. All right, edit details. So here we saw this at the beginning. We also have picture URL or avatar picture URL. So you can add a picture as your avatar. One thing I want to remind people or tell people if you didn't know this, Discord is not a image hosting service. So if you put a picture on Discord and link that picture to here, eventually that link is going to break and you're not going to have your picture anymore. It's better to use an image hosting service, something like Imgur. They have free accounts if you want to get an account. So you can just put the picture URL there and it should work. Okay. Settings. We talked about settings before a little bit. Here you can hide redundant stats, hide your rest buttons. So if you don't want to see your rest buttons, you can hide those. Show our spell tab. If you are a marshal and you don't have any spells, you can actually just hide the spells tab because you don't use it. Okay. And then additional information. So like I said, it uses webhooks. So for example, I do my playtesting on the Owlbear Rodeo. So I can get my webhook URL and then put that into my Discord and do all my play testing that way. Okay. Libraries shows you all your libraries, and then debug if you're a programmer. Okay. The other thing we have up here is sharing. Okay. If you are playing in a server and you need to share your sheet either with your DM or put it into Avery or something, if you're just sharing it with a DM, you can keep it only people I share with, and you can just put in their email address and it will share it with them, and it'll show up on their DiceCloud as like another character. Okay. Otherwise, you can go to anyone with a link. So if you're sharing it with Avery, you want to do anyone with a link. Or if you're asking for help on the DiceCloud server, it's almost always better if you anyone with a link. And then if you go up to the address bar, that is your link. Okay. So I'm not showing my address bar because I'm hiding all of my tabs. But if the dicecloud.com/character/ your name or your account / your character name, that is your link. Okay. So post that in the Discord if you're looking for help. That way we can really see, like, especially the people who are really knowledgeable. John, for example, those people will be able to help you a lot easier and a lot more quickly if they can look at your sheet and see what's kind of going on. So here's where you do that, is in the sharing. Okay. And then finally is delete. Right? So if you're not going to use this character anymore, remember, if you are a standard user for DiceCloud, you only have 5 active characters. Now, something you can do is you can archive a character. So click on the character and archive. That character will go into your archive. Close. We can see it here in files. Here's our archive. That character no longer counts against your characters. This is fine for most people, right? Most people aren't playing 5 characters at a time. So you can just archive them and then re-upload them whenever you're ready to play with them. If that's not good enough for you, if you need more, then you can become a Patreon. I highly recommend becoming a Patreon patron because so you can join for free, but then you choose your membership, right? Wanderer, version 1 support, Adventurer, and then Hero. Okay. Oops, almost out of battery. So here you get Discord access. I would really, like I said, I really recommend doing it. There's really just one person working on DiceCloud. Their name is Thom. They do amazing work. So being able to support them really goes a long way. They pay for all of the server space and everything. So not only that, but by adjusting your adventurer level, you get more active characters. You can create and edit your own libraries. Now, the libraries in the near future are going to be public, so anybody can create them. But right now, it's a patron access only. And if you get into higher levels, you get more characters, obviously. But you can also get invites to give the adventurer tier to some friends. Right. So hopefully that explains everything. Oh, we should talk about, come back here. Right. If you have a character in archive and you want to bring them back, you click on restore, new character, restore, and it'll bring that character back. Close. And the last thing is, if you're not using this character anymore, say, I'm done with this character, he died, I want to start a new character, come down, delete, and then you type in the new character, you type in the character's name. It'll have delete forever, the character's gone. All right, that's everything. I hope that was helpful. Again, if you ever need help with anything in DiceCloud V2, go to the DiceCloud, go to the Discord. People there are very friendly, they're very helpful. A lot of them are programmers. You don't need to be a programmer to know how to do DiceCloud. It does help, obviously. I'm not a programmer. I know nothing except for the names of the programming languages, but I'm slowly building up libraries and stuff. And I'll talk about that in another video. But I hope you enjoy DiceCloud. I think it's a great system, and I look forward to everything that's coming up in the future. Have a great day.